And welcome everyone to another episode of the Sports Insiders. I'm Denzel Snipes. He is the sports agent Sean Russi, and we are coming to you just a little short episode, just about 10 minutes. But please follow us on Sideline Sports, all of our social media channels at Sideline Sport One. We are on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Shout out to our guy Jacob Christner. We have two, excuse me, we have two TikToks actually. One is Sideline Sports, another is Sideline One Sports. The one with Sideline One Sports, that's our guy Jacob Christner, who gives great takes every single day regarding things around the sports world, controversial topics, you name it. Also, tune into our great shows, Sideline Sports Show, Confidential, the Sports Insiders, of course, this show, the Sports Insiders. The Gauntlet will be starting up shortly. Our guys at First and 56, that's our Indianapolis Coach Show. Terrible Talk, that's our Pittsburgh Steelers show. Hawk Talk with Dave DeRocher and Walter Thurman III, and other shows, and also articles on our website. So we also cover live events. So there's material on there from Super Bowl week of not just this past year, but last year in Arizona, the year before, LA. So we've got it all on there. Go and check us out. Follow us at Sideline Sports One. All right, before we get started, how you doing, Sean?
No, everything's going good, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. So I titled this one Second Round Pick Warfare. And basically, as of 2 p.m. today, oh, wait a second. What was the update you had, Sean?
Yeah, so as of we've hit the air here, we now have 9 total signed out of the 32nd round picks.
Okay. Okay. So nine. Not, 1 second. Oh, sweet. Thanks. Okay. As of 2 p.m., only four are signed. Now we have nine signed. So two more. Among the signings, Alfred Collins had a nearly fully guaranteed. Shamar Turner, the Bears reportedly not close to fully guaranteed. Collins was the 43rd pick. Shamar was the 62nd pick. You want to get more into detail about that, Sean?
Yeah, so we're starting to see some dominoes fall here. It's interesting. Most of the 9 that have signed are outside of pick 50. They're in that 50 to 64 range. We do have picks 33 and 34 signed, but those two have been signed for quite some time. Those are the two that actually started this whole thing, and we'll touch about on that more in a little bit. Um, but you can kind of see the difference in the 19 picks. Collins got about 90% fully guaranteed, where Shermer is a lot closer to one full guaranteed year, and then second and third year not fully guaranteed from what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it obviously this is a little bit of a win for players, but and we'll get in more to details. It's really split into two because you can see how it's going right now with picks 50 to 64 starting to sign, but they're not signing guaranteed contracts. Picks 49 through going backwards to 33, outside of 33 and 34. Alfred Collins is really the only one that signed today in that range. He took 96%. So a lot of them are still going to be looking close to that 100 mark. We could see those guys sit out a little bit longer here. Maybe this drags in the next week for a couple of them based on what Collins got and based on what 34 got, which was 100%.
Okay. And it says here that it's a small win for the players and agents, but it's a bigger win for teams. So maybe up to pick 40, give or take a few spots, they may end up with fully guaranteed deals. Sometime, and that's typically how it works. You figure your first picks are the ones that are going to get the biggest deals. That's kind of the nature of things you figure, right? But teams can now also. Oh wait, the expectation is that 20 plus players will end up accepting typical 2 second round deals. Want to pick it up from there?
Yeah, so I mean, just the way things are going, and we'll go over some of these numbers, like we said, and they've already made news early in May. The Carson Wester from the Browns, and Jaden Higgins to the Texans, 33 and 34. They got 100%. Now, what's interesting about this is they're both represented by CAA, and Jaden Higgins signed a day before Carson. So it was smart maneuvering by CAA here. They got the number 34 pick done first, got him 100%. Went to Cleveland, says there's no way the 33 gets less than number 34. You have to give him 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely smart maneuvering. It obviously kind of set things a little on its side for a little bit here. But it's also rare that even though they may have multiple picks in a draft, that an agency has picks go back to back like that.
Mm,
We see that more in the first round where the bigger agencies are really more prevalent. As the only agents in the rounds, there's a lot smaller. The smaller agents start coming to play second, third, and later on. But it's really rare, especially in the second round, to see an agency have picks 33 and 34. But it was
mm,
smart maneuvering by them. And then now what they've done here, though, is they've caused this little bit of issue is who else is worth 100% based on past. Last year, Keon Coleman at number 33 only got 96%.
mm.
Jaden was actually the first one ever to get 100%. So teams are Brian, breathing a sigh of relief here, going, all right, doesn't look like we're going to have to buck the trend of the last 40 years. We're not giving anybody else 100%.
Okay. Um. So, uh, you got a note here that says to expect it. Well, yeah, Cleveland is no way. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was smart maneuvering by the CAA, but it's also rare to see an agency have back-to-back picks at any point in the draft. Um, should this be a sticking point for the next CBA in 2031?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see how long these other 21 guys take to sign right now as we stand tonight. Obviously, I think some more dominoes will fall here, into the late hours of the night and tomorrow. Um, but I could definitely see this becoming a year over year issue until that point. And, since there's this CBA is kind of long, there could be some more, I guess, you don't call it infighting, but kind of standstills for second round picks. And now, if we start, say, just hypothesizing here, and it's 2028, and say the first 10 to 12 picks for 2026 and 2027 got fully guaranteed deals, maybe we are going to move closer to a fully guaranteed second round. But if this continues to be something where every year leading up to the CBA, we've got second round picks just kind of sitting, waiting, or if this then starts to affect the third round picks later on down the line, then yeah, I expect this to be a big sticking point in the next collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, other motivating factors for Collins to sign is he's actually expected to be a day one starter, and that's not really typical expectation of a second round player. Um, he may have taken less than 100% to ensure that he didn't lose traction on the inside path to the starting job. You want to go a tad bit deeper with that one?
Yeah, so he was the first domino to fall late last night or early this morning. He was the first one outside of numbers 33 and 34 to sign a deal. It's been well known that the Niners pretty much stated they had drafted him to be a day one starter. I could definitely see a move where they're calling the agent, calling him, going, "Hey, we're trying to be fair, but we also expect this out of you. And because you are a second round pick, you do get to free agency a little bit sooner, restricted free agency, et cetera, where they can kind of give them a wink and a nod. We'll take care of you later, but we need you in here now before
Now, yeah.
you're behind the eight ball, and we're expecting you to start week one, at the middle of this defensive line." Um, the other situation obviously is the running back in Cleveland that now has the domestic issue. He was, kind of expected to battle for that starting job out there. There's a few other second rounders that you can point at that say, yeah, they're going to get plugged in. But the others, say 50 to 60% of the second round, is probably going to start off the bench and work their way into the starting lineup. Um, but so, Collins could have been motivated to take that little 4% less. It doesn't sound like a big number to those at home, but it adds up to a lot when you're talking about millions of dollars.
Yes, of course.
Um, so, he may have been motivated to be like, yeah, you know what? You know, 3 years from now, I could be a restricted free agent because I'm not a first round pick. I don't have that extra year on my deal. I'll take this now. I'm gonna play my ass off for the next couple of years, and I'm gonna cash in on this. Being a second rounder, and this 4% is gonna be forgotten.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the better you play, the more you set your price down the line.
100%. And then, one of the arguments agents and the players are making right now is, the typical NFL career is 2 to 3 years, and second round contracts are 3 years. So that's why there's such a sticking point on that third year. But at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily fair to say pick 27 that pick 62 is getting a fully guaranteed deal. There's a big gap in talent there usually.
Yeah.
Um, you know, obviously there's enough first round bust, but usually there's a big gap in talent why someone's drafted at 27 versus 62 because of the potential ceiling.
Right.
Um, on those draft picks. So I can definitely see this continuing to be an issue. And teams have always, looked back on what happened last year, what happened the year before in terms of draft pick signings. Um, again, it was shocking to see Higgins get 100%, but that also says what the Texans, think of him in terms of he was a first round talent that slipped into the second
Or
round.
slip to the second, exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that because we've seen the opposite. We've seen guys drafted in the first round that were third rounders at best. So, it's all the people that are so quick to say, oh well, he was a first rounder. He was not first round material. You know, uh, and like you said, the Texans saw Higgins as first round material, and for some reason he ended up in the second, but they got him and I actually expect this to be to be definitely something that we see more of down the line.
Yeah, I think if guys will hold steadfast for a little bit, like I know the Chargers wide receiver, he broke his holdout earlier today and signed a deal. He was the first official holdout of the second round. The rest of the guys will kind of be holdouts tomorrow and Saturday when the rest of the camps open. But Trey Harris signed his deal earlier today, but he was a holdout yesterday. Now the one difference is, and then we'll wrap this up, rookies cannot report, and because they've never signed a contract, they're not subject to the same fines as a veteran. So
Mm,
they can sit there all day, and depending, again, NIL, and we're getting a little far off, but if these guys have a lot of NIL money coming out of college, kind of like the first round pick of the Bengals now is debating going back to Texas A&M, why would you not try to sit and play with fire a little bit? It's July 17th. Maybe I can miss a week and see if I get 97, 98, 99% fully guaranteed.
true. Mm, yeah, absolutely. That's something that man, in that aspect, the NFL hates the NIL on that note.
Yeah, these guys are getting a lot of money to stay in school, take that fifth year. It's going to change a lot of things as we see in terms of average ages coming out in the next decade as we look back and then start looking at draft ages. It's going to change a lot what they're doing with the portal and with NIL marketing deals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that is our show for this evening. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure and check us out on all of our platforms. We're on Facebook, X, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram as well. And so for John Russi, I'm Denzel Snipes, and we will see you all next week.